Welcome to another episode of the Donta Show Network Story Time. Today, we're going to do part 2, finally, of the homie J Rock got caught with a Ponk prison story. Now, I was looking at the comments and I noticed y'all was like, Donta, you always leaving us on the cliffhanger. Why you don't ever do a part 2? I do a lot of part 2s. It's just I got so many videos, y'all miss it. This is why I tell y'all, if you subscribe to the channel, unsubscribe to the channel and subscribe back to the channel and hit the all notification button, okay? That way you will never miss none of my videos that I drop. And I drop a video every day at 9:30 a.m. okay? And sometimes twice on Sunday. So nevertheless, if you not get my notifications, again, y'all, unsubscribe, subscribe back to the channel and hit that all notification bell, okay? Now, let's get to the story. But before we get to the story, y'all, subscribe to my Patreon. If you subscribe to my Patreon, you will never miss a video, because actually when you subscribe to my Patreon, it goes straight to your phone. It goes straight to your email, so that way you'll get the notification immediately, okay? So I'm going to have my Patreon pinned at the top of the comment section. All right, y'all, let's get into the story time. So the bus just pulled in and we all on the yard. We walking the track and everything. And when the bus pulled in, everybody ran to the gate. You talking about 200-300 men at the gate. We call it sweating the gate. Sweating the gate is just a whole bunch of cats at the gate trying to figure out and see who getting off that bus. Like I said in prior videos, you want to be on that gate to see who's coming in. It could be a family member that's coming in. It can be a op. It could be one of your enemies. It can be a gorilla. It can be a punk, a chomo, a sissy, right? So we sweating the gate, and nobody that I know, that I recognize, get off the bus. You got dudes hollering, doing cat calling, hooting, all that, right? So particularly this tall white dude get off the bus. I'm talking about this dude was like 6'8", 6'9", looked like a basketball player. But the way that he walked, I can already tell, like, yeah, this dude got some sugar in his tank, right? I could tell. I mean, just the way that he was walking and his whole mannerisms, right? Now I know y'all gonna clown me in the comment section because I said mannerisms. I don't know how to say that word. Mannerisms, aneurysm, whatever, right? But his mannerism, dude was kind of like switching a little bit. So I said, okay, whatever. Before we go on with this story, let's get the question of the day out the way, y'all. Question of the day, real simple. What is your favorite cereal? Me, I'm gonna say, I would say Fruity Pebbles, but nah, I'm gonna go with the original Captain Crunch without the crunch berries. Y'all let me know what y'all favorite cereal is. Okay, let's go. So anyway, I see him, right? Now, this whole story is about my homeboy J Rock, okay? This is that part 2 that y'all been waiting on. So I noticed, J Rock looking extra hard, but I couldn't tell like who he was looking at. But Strawberry was the last guy getting off the bus, right? So I'm like, all right, y'all, let's bail out, right? Because my homeboys, they got the right to see who coming in here too, right? So that's not normal, right? So we get to walking again. So we are quiet. Now, J Rock was like, hey man, y'all seen that white boy? So it was like, yeah, we seen him. He was like, man, y'all think that dude like a D1 basketball player, or y'all think he play ball or something? Because J Rock play ball. So we was like, I guess so, maybe. So I was like, yeah, but I think dude kind of sweet though, right? I said it as a joke, but I was serious. And everybody started laughing like, yeah, dude did have a little extra in his walk, right? So J Rock was like, yeah, man, yeah. Well, when he hit the yard, man, I'm gonna see what he got. Right? So then I should have seen the red flag then. So anyway, Now, intake is when you first get to prison. They strip you down, make you take a shower, throw this lice powder on you, do a psych eval, a medical eval, all that. And that normally takes about a week. And so you go through all that and you're in a single cell. And then the second week of intake, they put you in a double cell. And, they just tell you the prison rules or whatever. And then they classify you in this time or whatever. And then you get sent to your unit, right? So in my mind, I know we got 2 weeks until these new inmates show up on the yard or on the compound or whatever, right? So J-Rock, in the meantime, throughout the whole day, I mean, not the whole day, but the whole 2 weeks, he just kept mentioning this guy. Just kept mentioning him, kept always bringing him up in every conversation. And that right there should have been, a red flag for me then. But I just, swept it under the rug, okay, maybe he asking about him because he really want to see what he got. He really want to see if this dude could play or whatever. But then, now that I'm saying it out loud, I guess he did find out if he could play and see what he got. Ugh. Okay, my fault, y'all. So anyway, the 2 weeks go by. And who walks in our unit? Y'all got it. Strawberry. This white guy that's about 6'9". Dude, gotta be an easy good 230, 240. But he was kind of slim with it, right? Big old white dude. Right now, I seen him, from the bus. When he got off the bus, he looked like I said, like a basketball player. But up close, this dude was a giant. He really looked like an NBA type of dude. So I'm looking at him walk in, and then I see, that little walk that he got. I'm like, oh man. So the only person in our unit that didn't have a cellie was J-Rock. And just so happened they end up putting him in J-Rock's cell. So J-Rock was on a visit at this time. So he didn't know that this dude was in the cell or whatever. So I sent Al over there, to go holler at the dude or whatever. And, see what he about or whatever. And Al, he was over there for about 15 minutes, talking to the guy or whatever. And, he was letting him know, the guy that you in the cell with or whatever, he connected, he in our crew or whatever. So, and I know sometimes I have to realize that a lot of people say, well, Donta, you be repeating yourself a lot in some of your videos about how you was programming. Well, we get new listeners every day. So a lot of people, when I say this dude connected, they gonna be like, well, what he's connected to? What you mean he connected? Y'all like a mafia or gang or organization? Maybe, I guess. So basically, this is the rundown, y'all. So long story short, for the sake of this story time, basically, if you was a weak inmate or somebody that got into some trouble, you would come to me and you would pay me. It can be anywhere from $500 a week to $100,000 a week. I mean, $100,000 a month, depending on the case and if you got that type of money. All different cases and situations is charged differently, okay? But that's basically what I was doing in prison. And I had a crew of we started off with like 25 guys, but that quickly weeded down to about 10 guys, right? But anyway, that's what I was doing in a nutshell. And I was the leader of that organization. But anyway, so Al come back and he like, yeah, I think that dude is kind of, I said, what? He was like, yeah, I think dude gay, man. I said, why you say that? He was like, man, I don't know, man. It's like the way he was talking, I don't know, man. It's just weird. I said, well, if he is, he gonna have to get out of that cell, because you know what I'm talking about? He like, yeah, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm like, hold on, I'm gonna go holler at him. So I knock on the door. He like, hey, what's up? I said, do you know me? He was like, not really, sir. Now, when he said sir, that kind of threw me off because nobody really called me sir. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yeah. I said, so I'm just gonna be straight up, man. Is you gay? He was like, why you say that? Now, when I said that, he like turned beet red. And I was like, because, man, I don't play no games here. I don't know if you know, but I'm Donta, and, you know, I got my homeboy this my homeboy cell. And if you are like that, you ain't going to be able to, you know, be in the same cell with him. So I need to know this for your safety and for your protection. Right? He was like, no, I'm not gay. I'm straight. I was like, okay, well, you know, nice to meet you. What's your name? And he was like, Pete. I said, Pete? He's like, yeah, my name Peter. I said, oh, okay. So I said, well, yo, Bunky is this dude named J Rock, and that's my homeboy. And the whole breakdown is this, you know, that's my homie. You know, we do what we do around here, and I explained to him what we do or whatever. And I said, you know, just respect my homeboy, and, you know, you ain't gonna have no issues up in here. So he was like, all right, cool, right? So I leave out. J Rock shows up, y'all. Now, we gonna fast forward 2 months later, because nothing really eventful took place, you know, through these 2 months. Yeah, I done bust a couple heads. I done put that knife on a couple cats. I done whipped out a guard or two here and there. You know, that's prison shit. You know what I'm talking about? Running down some cats and, yeah, shaking dudes down, all type of shit, right? But nothing really noteworthy to, you know, mention right now. So, we on the yard, right? And I noticed, like, through the passage of time, like, J Rock was always with this guy. He was always with his bunkie. Now, there ain't nothing really wrong with you just, you know, with your bunkie or whatever, but, like, these dudes was, like, always with each other. They was going to the law library religiously, and J Rock never really went to the law library at all. J Rock had a 20-year sentence, and he basically was like, man, shit, I'm here, right? And his excuse, whenever I asked him, like, yo, why you going to the library? He'd be like, oh, you know, Pete, which is his bunkie, the white guy, is teaching me, you know, how to try to get out of here, whatever. He working on my case. So I'm like, oh, okay. So that was his excuse. Now, in hindsight, that, you know, what we about to get to, or how I found out that, you know, they was messing with each other, like really messing with, like, kissing and stuff. So anyway, so I noticed they would eat meals together. They'd be walking the track together. They'd be working out together. And at first glance, you would think like, okay, well, you know, just his homeboy. You know, they sillies. They, you know, it ain't nothing wrong with it. But then I also noticed like they was too close. And when I say close, I'm talking about. Now look, when you get in the shower, right? And so the showers at this particular place, they had like, okay, so when you go to the shower, let me set the stage for y'all. When you get in the shower room, right? When you go to get in your shower, because they got individual showers, you open up like this wooden door. Y'all know, like when you go to like a restaurant and they got the bathroom stalls, it's kind of like that, but it's like a wooden door. So you got the first stall, you open that door, it's like a little bench right there, and then you pull the shower curtain back from there, and then you walk in, you know, cut the shower on right there, boom. So it's like one step, two step, like two parts you got to get into to get in there. Now if you a tall guy, you can look up and over and see the next guy on the left or the right. So J Rock goes to the shower, and I'm on the tier, just overseeing the tier, whatever, just looking around or whatever. And I see J Rock go to the shower, right? Because he got his shower stuff. So about 4 minutes later, I see his bunkie, Pete, the white guy, Strawberry. He goes down there and he go get in the shower, right? Now, I've been locked down for some years at this point, and I notice everything. People are creatures of habit. Now, I know J Rock usually get in the shower and get out the shower, right? I just know he just get in and get out. Maybe about 2-3 minutes. He in and he out, right? But I noticed, like, he was in there for about 5 minutes. So I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, maybe he just talking to dude or whatever. But then I just got this eerie feeling. I'm like, something ain't right. Right? So I said, you know what? Let me go check on this dude. Right? Now I said, nah, I'm tripping. So 5 more minutes passed. And I said, no, hell no. Something ain't right. Something ain't right here. Ain't no way J Rock would never be in the shower for that long. So I'm thinking the worst. I'm thinking like somebody done clutched him out, or you know what I'm saying? Somebody done did something to him. So I go to my cell and I go grab that sword of justice, because I don't know what I'm about to walk into, right? So I go grab the sword of justice and I bust up in there, right? Now, as I'm coming in, you can hear like footsteps, echoes or whatever. I'm like, Jay, as I'm coming in, towards the right of the shower. And he comes out like he's out of breath, right? But he had his towel wrapped around him. I'm like, he like, what's up, D? I said, you all right? He was like, yeah, I'm good. Why, what's up? I said, shit, man, you been here for a minute. He was like, what, you timing me or something? I was like, no, man, I was just, you just in this mug for a while, man. I try to make sure you was all right. He was like, no, man, I'm good. And then Pete walked past, the white guy, and this dude is beat red. I'm talking about red. I don't know why, people call people rednecks, and I don't really know the meaning of that. Like, why people call white people rednecks, but I'm pretty sure there's a difference between a regular white person and a redneck. Y'all let me know in the comment section, like, why do they call rednecks? Let me know in the comment section. But he's beat red, okay? Now, from my understanding of seeing this dude for these last couple months, whenever Pete is beat red, something done happened. Either he done argued with somebody, he done got in a real uncomfortable predicament, like his color changed, like, you know what I'm saying? When he get into an altercation or something. So he's beat red. So I'm looking when he walked past. I'm like, what? I said, your bunkie, all right? He good? He was like, yeah, he good. I said, oh, okay. So then I walked off, right? So we gonna fast forward to the yard time. So we walk in the yard, me and my homeboys, and I tell Homicide, like, hey, look, today J Rock, I see he went to the shower, but he was in there for like a long exercise. So Homicide was like, man, why you watching niggas go to the shower? I said, no, it wasn't that. I was just overseeing the tier. You know what I'm saying? I said, but his bunkie, Pete, was in there with him, and they was in there for a long time. And, when I came in there, Pete, when he walked past, he was beat red. And I'm like, and something else, I said, this is what I need for you to do, Homicide. I need for you at 6 o'clock, Pete and J Rock, they go to the law library. So I need for you to go follow them and, just keep an eye on them, be incognito. So he was like, all right, man. So we gonna fast forward to 6 o'clock, y'all. Now, I'm in the pod, and me and the homeboys, we playing chess, right? Chess and dominoes. Game night, right? We gambling. So Homicide is already out on his mission. I'm going to say about 40 minutes will go by. It had to have been about 7:15 maybe. And we hear the code. Deputy coming there. Hey, y'all locked down. Y'all locked down. We like, what? They like, locked down, locked down. We like, man, what happened? What's going on? They like, man, locked down. Right? So we like, man, all right, man, whatever. So we all go to our cells or whatever. And now my cell, you have to walk past my cell to get to J-Rock cell and Pete's cell, right? And I could see Homicide cell. His like across from me at the bottom, right? So y'all know I'm always watching. I'm always vigilant. So I'm like, man, where Homicide at? Where J-Rock? Because I'm kind of concerned. I'm like, where my homeboys at? Right? So then, after like 2 hours, they let us out. Now, was not, keep in mind, y'all, this is a Friday, and on the weekend, they let us rock out to like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, right? In the pod, of course. We ain't roaming in the prison. So they let us out, and I go straight to the dep, like, hey, where Homicide and J-Rock at? So he was like, hold on, step in here, man, step in here, right? So he let me in the shift office. He said, man, your boy Homicide got stabbed. I said, what? He said, yeah, man, there was an altercation in the law library, man. I was like, what happened? Like, who did it? He was like, well, they saying that your homeboy J-Rock knifed him. And him and his bunkie knifed him. And I was like, what you mean? Like, what happened? He's like, I don't know, man. They just, that's what happened, man. Your homeboy, your two homeboys went at it, right? And yeah, they saying Homicide, he might not make it. They just airlifted him out of here. That's why they had to lock the prison down. And I said, what if J-Rock and Pete at? He was like, yo, man, you know they in the hole, man. They went to the hole. So I'm like, look, I need for you to get word to J-Rock, man. Get word to J-Rock and find out what happened, man. So he was like, all right, I got you, D. So I left out. So I came out like, ooh, ooh. You know, when I do that, all my homeboys, they assemble, right? Like Voltron. So all my homeboys coming like, what's up? What happened? What happened? I said, listen, Homicide is going to the hospital. And they like, what? They like, what happened? What you mean he going to the hospital? I said, look, the guard told me J-Rock and him got into it or something happened and they got to stabbing each other, whatever. And they like, what? I said, yeah, but look, what I honestly believe, I sent Homicide to watch J-Rock today. And, you know, to watch him in his bunkie or whatever. And I can only assume that that's what happened. Something happened. So they like, man, what was you thinking? I said, I don't know, man, but we gonna find out for sure. We gonna find out for sure. Y'all stay tuned for part 2. Matter of fact, go to my Patreon. I'm gonna have the link to my Patreon pinned at the top of the comment section. So y'all go check out part 2. It's there. With that, y'all, if y'all forgot to hit the like button, hit the like button. I'm out.